really interesting photograph, right? So it's got all kinds of things happening. So tell me a little bit about this.
I was in Baroda and I was just waiting for a car to come, and I thought, why wait here? Let me explore. So I walked into this beauty parlor, and guess what I find? This man is about to have his chest waxed. So I obviously had to do a picture, and the only thing missing in this picture is the scream when it was all pulled out. You're looking at my work, and I'm a photographer, and I tell stories through visuals and through panoramic visuals actually.
Thank you very much for your time, Amit. And it's great to be here at your home, at your studio, where all your work is. And look forward to having an interesting conversation around photography, travel, and what all that means.
I look forward to that too.
One of the things I found really interesting was your Taj photograph, right? And what I found interesting in that photograph was a comment you made somewhere, that for you to get that snap, you had to cross over to the other, the bank of the Yamuna and be there for 2 days. And that struck me very interesting. The fact of 2 days is what struck me really, because a lot of travel is rushed typically, right? So, and great observation, I suspect, comes from a lot of patience, right? And I'm a great fan of slow travel. So I wanted to connect those two ideas, right? So as a photographer, you're always looking for that incredibly different view. And that comes with a lot of patience and a lot of taking it easy, right? Tell me about that.
No, so there are two things to it. One is clearly an aspect of being somewhere at the right time. There is a right time to be standing in the tea gardens of Munnar. There's a right time to go visit the Taj. You don't want to see it with the hordes, because then it's not yours. It is millions. Secondly, it's the aspect, like you mentioned, of taking your time, finding vantage points, standing around, getting to absorb a certain thing. And that essence is a bit of a hit and miss.
Exactly. And I've had the similar experience, Varanasi, right? You go past the well-known ghats, and you go to the other side and you go to Rajghat and slightly the older parts. And it suddenly transforms into a different experience altogether, right? There are no people. You can see stones from probably much older, and in Varanasi that's saying something, right?
Hari, I think we are on the same wavelength, because philosophically I believe that, and photographically too, I believe what is wrong is to keep conveying the climax, and we keep conveying that climax and we keep wanting to see that climax, and so we go at the peak of the festival, we'll go at the Kumbh Mela, we'll do all the things that seem to say that we are there at the right time, but that's the wrong time.
So tell me about this, the Monumental India book.
Well, this came to us from a foreign publisher actually.
Okay.
The brief was very clear. They'd done a book on New York in panoramic format, but not anywhere like this book. In fact, I thought it was quite bad. And they wanted to do a book on India. So the clear brief was, do not have any people in the pictures. Now in India, whether you go at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, it's impossible not to have any of this. They'll be squatting if they'll not be doing other things. So that was really difficult for me, but I did manage ultimately. But the interesting thing was that while I was documenting all this, I also documented Corbusier's Chandigarh.
Oh, I see, okay.
And so that's also a part of this book. So when this draft went to France, to the publishing house, they looked at all the material and they said, remove that, which is the Corbusier bit. So then we whispered to them, but that's Corbusier. Is that so? No, keep it in, keep it in.
So many foreign influences interplay in India that actually a lot of countries don't know, right? They themselves don't know that there's so much happening or has happened about their culture in this country. How has this fact that you're a photographer played into your travel?
Hari, at some point you come to the realization that your art is God given. And so I want to deploy this capability to projects which I find close to my heart. India Lost and Found is one such project, because I do believe that just like in the rest of our country, we can't seem to get beyond hero worship. We can't seem to get beyond hero worship with regards to monuments as well. And I think that sensitivity needs to be sort of handed down, because it's not going to come on its own. And so I need to seriously work at that. And that travel is now going to become a part of this venture.
Got it. Got it. You know, the other thing about Lost and Found is these little known monuments is that how do you know, the big ones, the stories around that are so well known, right? So the Taj is well known.
Yeah.
And, you know, today maybe even Hampi is to some extent people are starting to get to know. But when you get to the smaller places, how can you infuse the story into the image that you, I mean, is that an objective at all, or is that something that you think can be done, not done?
I'm not so certain if photography is the only way, in order to do it. Maybe the sense of enactment, maybe cartoons, maybe storytelling. It could be a bunch of mixed mediums. But I think if a lot of this comes together, then it does that. It does that for you in the sense of sending enough people out there. I think somewhere that will happen.
Interesting, yeah. No, I think it makes a lot of sense. It's wonderful to sort of see the beginnings of that journey.
Well,
And waiting to see what we have.
thank you. I look forward to showing it to you first up.
Awesome, awesome. I certainly will come back for that. Keep you to your word. All right, thank you. Thank you.